who I think have done well at times, and maybe they have their part to play. But I'm amazed that Celtic have not got a starting 11 striker in already. You're 2 weeks into the window, and when you hear Martin O'Neill talking about, I've actually knocked back some players that have been put to me. Wow, go and give him something that he can work with, something that the supporters can hang on to and get excited about. And the only way you avert any sort of criticism is as long as you don't drop points. But it sounds very familiar. Celtic will do some business in the last week of the transfer window. I don't understand why they haven't had someone lined up, someone that we would all recognise.
But you can understand in some ways, James, given the turmoil of December into, well, the 3rd of January, there's a change of the guard again. So whoever Wilfred Nancy wanted was probably not what Martin O'Neill will want, given that they play a completely different style of football.
Yeah, but I also agree with Andy to a degree that you've got to have certain things in place. You've got to take into account where you are in the league, which at the minute isn't acceptable for Celtic. And I think if you had that set up, if you had recognised a big name, someone that the fans could get excited about, and with Martin coming back in as well, which gets the fans back on board, it was a quick win for the board to go and do that. Now, that sounds very simple, that you go out and you sign whoever's there, but that's not the case. But a football club like Celtic, we shouldn't be halfway through the transfer window and nothing happened. Now, look, we could be sitting here and Martin might just be coming out with, we're knocking players back, and they will be working on deals, there'll be things in the background, but it needs to happen really quick, and those players that do come in need to be effective and come in and hit the ground running.
Let's hear a bit more from Martin O'Neill. Celtic fans, give us a call. What do you think? Who would you like to see? 0808 17 17 700. There's a number of names out there, but a bit more from the manager now.
I'd love to blame other people, no, but it's down to me. Nothing has changed really, even when I've been out of the game. You know, the January transfer window is pretty difficult, because unless you've identified a player that you absolutely know is going to improve your team and that you're prepared to spend the money on him, I think it becomes more difficult. And I'm stepping in here. I think I might have said to you a couple of weeks ago that the new manager would have wanted to have the January transfer window so that he could identify players for his particular system. Now, we are genuinely working really hard in the background, so there's no impediment in that sense. It's just trying to get some people in that we think could help us now, at least until the end of the season.
James, you were a Premier League manager just a couple of years ago. What's so hard about January? I kind of understand it in some ways, but if you're just tuning in for the first time, why is January so difficult?
In my situation, in January, we were struggling in the league. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you get your budget at the start of the season, so you're then, and if things aren't going well, you're going to the board, the people that allow you to go and sign players, and you're asking. I think I signed Lee Griffiths for Dundee late on in the January transfer window, but it seems to be one. I know to a degree in the summer it happens as well, but the January one seems to be one where the moves happen at the very end, because every club's trying to protect themselves from who are they getting in to who they let out. But look, it is a tough window. Why? I can't put my finger on that, but when you're Celtic Football Club, or you're a club, and we keep hearing how much money they've got in the bank, we keep hearing all this, that, or whatever, but again, strip it back, look at the league position, look at where they're sitting, look, they're chasing a very, very good Hearts team that we see. Rangers are there or thereabouts now. That wasn't the case, but I just don't know why the signings aren't coming in.
I think, James, when you always compare Celtic with Rangers, it doesn't seem to be a hard window for Rangers. Mm-hmm. They've already got players in, they've already got someone in off the field. They've made big decisions off the field, people that had made decisions that obviously didn't work out. They've been binned. So a new guy has come in. New players have come in already. Rangers were ready to... I mean, I have no idea how good, bad or indifferent these new players will be. We'll all assess them on a week-by-week basis. But you can't fault Rangers for, what business they've done already.
Let's go on the lines. Paul is on from Kirkintilloch. Hi, Paul. Good evening.
Hi, Paul. Hi, James. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
My concern with Celtic signings and Martin O'Neill being involved is Martin O'Neill isn't used to signing guys for peanuts. I'm not being disrespectful. If you think back when Martin was there previously, Martin O'Neill was signing guys. I think about the last guy he signed, one of the ones was like Juninho, right, from Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Juninho had won the World Cup,
Sure.
right? So he operated in a totally different market, and I can imagine him being handed a list of players and disregarding some of them because that's not at a level that he wants Celtic to operate at. That's my concern. As in, not my concern for Martin O'Neill. He's right. He's 100% right to do it. But it's a different market, and he's used to signing guys that are known. And I mean,
Paul, he's also Paul. I can remember Martin O'Neill spending 50 grand on Didier Agathe.
I
mean, and no manager, there's not a manager around that gets every signing right. And of course, he had a big budget, and he brought in some terrific players. He might have brought in one or two that were unsuccessful as well. I think that happens to every manager. I'm just amazed that the club doesn't have enough options. That even one striker is not suitable enough, or they're waiting for something else to happen. When you think what's on the line, there's a title to be won here, and for the first time in a long time, it seems to be a three-horse race.
And James, I would imagine that Martin O'Neill, he's pragmatic. You know, somebody said the other day, Barry said he's a wily old fox, and he knows it's different days. The days of the money they spent, let's say, on Sutton, on Hartson, and the wages that we're paying, that's not the situation now. But everyone's astonished that the football club didn't have a striker ready to come in. 12 months ago, Kyogo left.
Yeah, and we've spoke about this for the past year on this show. Kyogo hasn't been replaced. Even Ida. I know we're going back, but he left and it left him short.
Why was he allowed to go? Exactly,
it left him short in that area. And so Martin, and if it's as simple as they're giving him a list, which it won't be, they'll be going through reports, the analysts will be showing him different players, and he'll have what he's got in mind. Where Rangers have had a head start is they changed dramatically a bit earlier than Celtic. Yeah. I think you can look at Celtic and say, why did it take so long for it to happen as well? Why did Martin not get to stay in the first place? Would it all be different? Who knows? We can't tell that. But just at the minute, I agree with Andy. It's a football club at the minute that's for some reason where are the players? Why are the players not good enough, and why are they not spending the money to bring better in?
He was asked today, roughly, how many players would you like to see come in?
Obviously, like to bolster the squad. I don't, for instance, in terms of the long-term injuries, I don't see Jota being back this season. I think I can't see the. I think that Johnston would probably be. He would make a fight back, and he's hoping to be maybe sometime in March, and that would be great if that's the case. But the longer term injuries, I don't see, So in terms of maybe numbers, we wouldn't mind getting a few in, but no, I'm saying that there to try and get a bit of quality.
Paul, quality is obviously what you, as a Celtic fan, would want. This is what Brendan Rodgers said in the summer. Paul? Silence. I think we lost them there. But Paul, thanks for that. There's lots. You're still there? Yep. Paul?
Sorry. Still there. I thought you were playing Brendan Rodgers.
No, on you go.
Sorry. This started, see if Celtic had a wee bit of vision. Right, see when I can't remember the young guys' names, but they let young guys go who played for the B team, strikers who went to West Ham, went to Millwall. Yep. I think it was the two of them. So who they obviously wouldn't pay the money, right? So there's been no plan. It's just I'm not in any way, shape or form criticising Martin O'Neill. I'm not. I think he's doing the right thing, but I think that we're so far detached to the reality of being a Champions League club that again, all this money in the bank, and it makes no difference.
Yep. There's been a plan, Paul. But it's not a plan that's up to scratch. It's allowed Hearts to go top of the table, Rangers to go into second position, and Celtic third. Now, they could win it, but the League Cup has gone. That trophy is not there anymore.
The Wilfred Nancy experiment just didn't work out. The amount of points that he's dropped.
Yep.
I mean, you're amazed that Hearts are 6 ahead, and Rangers, to their credit, right back in it. The appointment of Danny Röhl has been very successful in this short period. No one can convince me that there are not a good number of names that are out there, that are available. If you need to pay a bit of cash, then you need to pay a bit of cash. And I understand the shake-up. Paul Tisdale was the head of football operations. He's no longer there. But surely there are names somewhere in Celtic Stadium where it's not just one player you're going after. You're going after a number of names. You're going after a number of strikers with different strengths. And I'm astonished they haven't got one in to date, and we're 2 weeks into the season.
Paul, thanks for that call. 08 08 17 17 700, the Go Radio Football Show with Burger King. Jack is on YouTube saying, for a board that cares so much about making cash and hoarding it, you'd think they would understand having a solid scouting recruitment structure in place is crucial. It's potentially a cash conveyor belt is what he thinks, but he can't understand it. And I heard Mark Guidi saying last night, £40 million every season comes from the Celtic supporters. James, what about Stephen Welsh back? You know him well. Played a lot of games for Celtic. We'll hear Martin O'Neill speaking about him shortly. And he's doing brilliantly for Motherwell.
No, he has been, and he's going to be a massive loss to Motherwell. But he's been playing this season in a team that's playing attractive football. We've all been giving them plaudits for the way he's playing. He's now going to come back, and he's at an age now where he has to be playing first team football, whether that's at Celtic or somewhere else. But I think the one thing he certainly does give is a bit of better balance, where obviously Scales and Trusty both been left-sided. So is he good enough to play? Well, he's proven it, that he's good enough to play in the league, playing for Motherwell. He's obviously got the experience of being a Celtic player as well, but to go in and under these pressures, it's a different situation. But look, if he's going to go in and get the chance, it's up to him to take it.
Andy at the back, CCV obviously out. We don't know when he's going to be back.
Yeah.
Trusty, we don't deal in rumours, but someone was on last night and said, did Trusty take a knock at the weekend?
Paul, it doesn't matter. As soon as Carter Vickers got a serious injury, that position shoots to the top of your wanted list, as well as a striker. You haven't had a striker in. You didn't get one this summer. Maybe there was no need to get a very dominant centre half, but there is now. Carter Vickers has been out too long. Celtic need a bit of cover before he comes back. What a huge blow it is not to have Jota anytime soon. And the amount of time he's been out, I mean, that is a big worry. I suffered that same injury. I was out for the best part of a year. Yeah. You're told things like your career is on the line if you can't get back by a certain time. So I really feel his pain. But again, you should be trying to not replace Jota at the amount of money that someone like that might cost, but I'm just amazed that Celtic have not got a striker, a centre-back and a wide player already lined up for this window.
The big arrival at Glasgow Airport in the last few days is Tochi Chukwuani, who's now a Rangers player. What was it, £4 million? So it's a good amount of money. It's not a 10-15 million pounds, but it's a reasonable sum. Says Paul here, as if I know that 4 million's. It's a lot of money.
I think it's a lot of money for Scottish football. Any investment at that level. Yep. I think what it tells you is that Rangers with the new ownership are serious about being involved in the title race all the way to the end of May. And it's not been a difficult window so far for Rangers.
Danny Röhl spoke yesterday, just after the Aberdeen game, actually, about the new signing.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I think we worked hard the last couple of days to make this deal done. Big thank you to the board, to Andrew. I think at the moment the communication is great. Tochi will bring a good physical side, big experience also in Europe. And this is also very important to understand. We have also a group today on the pitch. They worked really hard. They deserved also big credit. And this is exactly what we need. We need the challenge in some positions, but we have also to understand our development in the last 10, 12 weeks. It's outstanding from some players. And again, I think look to Telo. He scored again a goal, and it's the next one who goes in the right direction. And this is for me really, really pleased to see.
So Tochi, as they call him, Jim Gillespie is going to be the new chief executive, James, and you know him from your time.
Yeah, like
where?
Just being local to him, having met him a few times, I think it will be a good addition to Rangers. You see the work he has done at St Mirren, he's helped that football club, particularly the academy side as well. I get it's different getting into Rangers and the role he's going into, but look, he's got loads of experience in doing that. He's a Rangers fan as well. I know that doesn't always mean anything, but it's not the be all and end all. But he's going in there and look, everything that's coming out for Rangers at the minute seems to be positive. Like every change they're making, their players signing, their rumours, they're this, that, and that's intensifying the scrutiny on Celtic as well, because there's not much coming out at all in terms of communication, signings, anything. But like ultimately, it's. Yeah, we can say that the £3-4 million is a lot of money, and it's great that Rangers are doing their business. Come the end of the window, and I know more points could be lost, things can happen between there and then, but it wasn't too long ago we were sat in the other studio, Paul, and we were having a go at the Rangers board for saying that they had wasted 20 odd million on certain amounts of players. So I think we've got to tread carefully in that respect as well. I'm maybe sitting here saying I'm amazed like Andy that Celtic haven't done anything, just given how close it is. I think Hearts are the ones out of the three of them that have showed how to do their business, but then they've got the model that works better than any other one in world football at the moment, really, when you look at it. So look, it's a tough one.
World football, steady. I'll come back on that after the break.
So sure.
And did we see a worldly save from? I know we did. We'll talk about that later. We don't deal in rumours. I'll tell you, Austin Trusty trained today, so that's the news for Celtic fans. Rangers fans, what are you thinking? I think you're feeling pretty good, second top of the table, and so far the window has gone well. We will be back after this. Tuesday night, Paul Cooney here with the Go Radio Football Show in the studio. So we're on the radio, on DAB, and also on YouTube as well, in glorious Technicolor. James McPake is in here. He's in, dark, pretty dark colours. Yeah, you are. So is Andy, and so am I. We need to coordinate.
Yes.
In future.
I'm not wearing any more red or pink.
Are you not? No.
No. Been given a warning.
Yeah. Andy has worn so many different colours over the years. Sheffield United, one of yours. I see one of their players was mentioned. Come to that in a minute or two. Yeah. And James, you played in a few clubs in England as well. And you mentioned in the first part of the programme Callum Wilson. So you were... he must have been really young when you played alongside. Not that you're that old, but yeah.
Yeah, he was certainly a bit younger than me. Yeah, he was 17 or 18, but he was training with the first team and had made his debut at a young age. Obviously, he's went on to have a fantastic career. One, not normally when you come across certain players as well, you do follow.
What did you like especially about him? Because he's an international player for England, has been.
Yeah, look, even when he was young, he was brave, really quick, dynamic striker. So it bags of potential probably at that point, and then you follow his career. He goes down to Bournemouth, obviously does well down there, goes up to Newcastle and then gets called up and scores goals for England as well. So like, when a name like that pops up, then without even knowing the background, I think it should bring excitement. But then what comes with Callum is obviously the lack of games he's played recently, the serious injuries he's had. But again, I'll say it, and if it wasn't for his injuries, we wouldn't even be talking about him coming to Scottish football.
Have you still got him in your phone book? Have you still got his number?
Yeah, I don't think he would answer the phone to me.
07968, give us it. Give him a call, give him a text, see if we can get the news first. Stephen Reside is on the phone, a Motherwell fan. Stephen, welcome.
Hey, right, I'm a Motherwell fan, but I'm on to talk about Cup ticket allocation for disabled supporters that's just been released today.
Okay, and what is it, Stephen? What's the allocation?
Saying that my spirits have been dampened would be the biggest understatement imaginable. Now, take the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, for example. That stadium holds 300 wheelchair spaces. On fans for each group stage match have been allocated 6 wheelchair spaces.
How many? 6?
That's 6. So that's 2% of the wheelchair spaces in the Hard Rock Stadium that are available to Scotland supporters. It's 0.0009% of the stadium's allocation. London has roughly around 200 wheelchair spaces for which that they are on supporters. This means that 3% of wheelchair users attended every qualifier at Hampden basically get a ticket. So across each category, it's 2 tickets each category. So I've only applied for category 1. Means that there's 2 tickets I can potentially get across the whole stadium. I basically need to be like Charlie Bucket going to the Wonka factory to have a chance of getting anywhere near there.
It's terrible. We're going to call you back. It is a bad line. We'll come back on that. But it sounds absolutely outrageous.
I've listened to Stephen so often on this programme. He's one of the regular callers, and I know some of the issues that he faces at clubs up and down the country. And yes, he's obviously got a very serious complaint there. I hope that things can change for him. Yeah,
we'll find out more about it. We're calling you back, Stephen, because actually Motherwell themselves, manager of the month, James, as you know, is Jens Bertel Askew.
Yeah, he's been excellent. Look, he really has. He's come in and again, everything get through at him at the start of the season. Can they continue to keep doing this? Can they keep playing the way they're playing? And look, I say it week in, week out, or any time I'm on the show, they're my favourite team to watch when you're the style they play. They're very good viewing. He's brave, and I think he's brought a lot of players on. They've got some really good players in there, but even when you hear some of these players talking about him, whether it be on interviews or just columns, whenever it comes up, just the way he treats them, the way he trains, everything about him, just he's an impressive guy, and I think other clubs must be looking at him.
And a number of their players have impressed you.
Yeah, well, he's got the Manager of the Month award, Askew, and Elliot Watt has got the Player of the Month. And when you look at some of the performances, the level of performance that Motherwell have, they are chasing a European place. I don't think they'll get involved in the title race, but the immediate transition of Motherwell being a trying to escape from the relegation area, trying to fight their way into the top six. I think undoubtedly they will finish in the top six this season. And I think it's a lesson to everyone else. If you do your homework properly, there are good managers out there, there are good players, whatever your budget is. And Motherwell have shown that they're getting value for money.
And they'll be hoping to hold on to Massanka, top scorer so far in Scotland.
Yeah,
he's on fire.
They'll be desperate to hold on to him. Like, you look where the season Hearts have had, and he's ahead of Lawrence Shankland in the scoring charts. He's been away as well at AFCON, so no, like he's been really good. Motherwell will be delighted to get him back from the tournament, but they'll be. When we're saying we want signings in at other clubs, Motherwell will just be desperate for that window to shut come the end of January and keep a hold of him, because if they do that, they'll. And I think Andy's right. It's the performances have been good, but it's the consistency in the performances. It's been since the start of the season. He's come in. It was a quick turnaround. He's got his brand of football, and there's buzzwords go about, or style of play, whatever you want to call them. But he's come in and he's got his style to play. He's bedded it in really quickly, and they're impressive.
I wonder how Stephen Welsh feels about being recalled by Celtic. I mean, what would you rather do? Play for Motherwell in a team that's entertaining, they've got good ambition, they're playing at a really good level, they're challenging for European football, or do you go back to Celtic? Is he going to play? He's there for a bit of cover. If he's not going to play, it's a blow for him, because the move to Motherwell has shown that he's got something to offer.
Stephen's back on the line, and of course, Stephen, you're a huge Scotland fan. You've booked some of your flights, etc. I know you did weeks ago for the World Cup. But the allocation of disabled spaces is tiny.
Yeah, guys, is this line better?
Much
before
better.
I continue? Yeah.
Much better.
Right, okay.
So, Stephen, for those that have just tuned in, what's the situation? What did you find out today?
So, the Hard Rock Stadium, we've been given 6 wheelchair spaces for each group stage match. I couldn't find the exact number on the Gillette Stadium, but I got numbers for the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. That has 300 wheelchair spaces. Which basically means 2% of wheelchair spaces are available to Scotland supporters. If you do it across the stadium, it means that 0.00009% of the stadium's allocation is available to wheelchair supporters. If you take the amount of wheelchair spaces at Hampden, which is just under 200, I'm led to believe, that means that 3% of Scotland fans in wheelchairs who have attended matches, attended all the qualifiers, will have a ticket. Also, it's 2 tickets across each category. So I've only applied for category 1 because I thought it'd give me the best chance, and I'm in a fortunate position to be able to afford that. There's only 2 tickets available to me, so my chances are next to nothing. I essentially need to be like Charlie Bucket, getting to the Wonka factory to get a ticket here.
So what can we do about it? Have you spoken to the SFA yet?
I've not spoken to the SFA yet, no, but I'm hoping that they will try and push this and try and take a stand, if you like, because it's just not good enough. I mean, even for able-bodied supporters, the pricing's ridiculous. And also, can I just state that disabled people don't get their carer free as well, so we will also have to pay for their carers. Now, there's people in full-time employment that are able-bodied that are struggling to afford this. How are disabled supporters, some of whom can't work because of their disability, how are they meant to even think about affording this?
Stephen, I think you're opening our eyes to the challenges that people like you and others are facing, and I really hope that whoever you speak to at the SFA will take you seriously and make the necessary phone calls to try and get the numbers up. I don't know what to say, how to help you. I know how passionate you are about your club Motherwell, and obviously with following the national team. And this is this could be a once in a generation type experience, going to America and watching
you wait
Scotland
almost 30 years. Almost 30 years
That's
for
right.
it to happen, and then you're told you basically got no chance. And it's even worse for ambulance supporters. Ambulance supporters have 3 tickets for them in a carer, 1 across each category. but we've not been thought about at all. And I'm not saying it's the SFA's
No,
fault,
I know you're
because
not. No, I know.
Because I know that their hands may be tied.
Yeah.
Do you
But
think
I'm
things
just
can
hoping-
improve, Stephen?
I think that there should be the rules and laws and legislation in place
Yeah.
that a certain percentage of tickets or a certain percentage of the stadium has to go to disabled supporters. I mean, the fact that I think Scotland fans are only getting 5.7% of ticket allocations in the first place anyway.
Listen, I think
Scotland
the SFA
fans
can phone on your behalf, but I think we all recognise it's a FIFA event.
It's a
And
FIFA issue.
they call the shots.
And Infantino spent so much time hanging around with Trump that, but he should be concentrating on doing the right thing. That's shocking. It's appalling.
No, it is, and Stephen, obviously I've spoke with you and done things, podcasts with you for
Yes.
years now, and I know how passionate you are about not only football but making football accessible for people with disabilities. So look, I'm gutted for you and for people in this situation, and I don't know, it might be probably if the news has just come out, but have you looked at the stadium before? What is it normally, or what do they normally allow for disabled spectators?
The news has just come out, as you say, so I've not really had a chance to look into it fully.
Yeah.
I'm just going off the news that we've got this morning, but I'm going to do further research into it. I just think that it's just not been made accessible for us at all. The fact that we need to pay for a carer as well, it's just like
It's heartless.
disabled people don't have the money. It's like. And I'm not saying that able-bodied people do either, by the way. I'm not saying that we deserve preferential treatment, but there should be legislation and there should be laws in place that some amount should be given. And I think 4,000 for the Tartan Army is a joke as well, by the way.
It is, yeah. I mean, there's so much. We've been so looking forward to it, Stephen, but what's going on, the way it's been monetised, the ticket prices are obscene. This is the people's game supposed to be. It's completely lost the plot.
I went on to the FIFA website when tickets were available and obviously plugged in the Scotland. The cheapest ticket that was available was 679 quid. I mean,
it's shocking.
Outrageous.
It really is. Yeah.
Outrageous.
Ridiculous.
FIFA, by the way, FIFA are also taking some of these tickets so that out of the other 300 spaces, FIFA are also taking some of these tickets and selling them at 6 times the price.
Yeah. Morally, it's terrible. Stephen, can I ask you a Scotland question, though? What about the goalkeeping position? The Craig Gordon save. How good was that on Sunday?
I think there was another one, but was it Gordon Banks against Brazil? It was very similar.
1970, the World Cup, yep.
For a guy at 43 to be able to move like that, I couldn't even move like that at 18. So it's just incredible. I think it's one of the best saves I've ever seen, and what it means for Hearts as well. I mean, they're obviously up there challenging and doing so well this season, and to be playing against Dundee with 10 men and for Craig Gordon to pull out that moment, incredible. But in 43 years of age, as you say, it would be a remarkable story if he was to be our number one. But I'm sure Angus Gunn will be wanting to get himself maybe a loan move so he can get some game time.
But even if he does, who would you go with? If you were Stevie Clarke, I know we can't say you've got 5 months to go, but I mean, there's an argument now. No matter what happens, it's Craig Gordon.
It's almost the toss of a coin, but I think because of recency bias and if having seen that save yesterday and the fact that he's been part of the squads for so long, I think Craig Gordon, I'd probably just tip him.
Andy, what would you do?
To get the jersey.
Yeah.
Craig Gordon has been a marvel for years. That was astonishing what he did at the weekend. It's earned his team 2 points. You know, that would have been a draw otherwise. I think it'll be really interesting to see what Derek McInnes will do once Chivolo has served his 1 match ban. Do you bring back your goalkeeper who was, sent off? He misses 1 game, but he's been your undisputed number 1. And I know we would love to see Craig Gordon playing every week, wouldn't we? Yeah. But for selfish reasons, we're not Hearts fans, but we just want to see our best. We just want to see our best goalkeeper having the best possible chance of, playing every week and then playing for Scotland. But I think he'll be tempted to go back to his number one.
Because he's always so loyal. James, what would you do?
For Scotland or Hearts?
Yep.
Both.
Scotland. Yeah.
Scotland for me, Craig Gordon. Angus Gunn isn't playing. Yeah, he might get a move. He might go and get 18, 19 games or whatever at a level. But I just think with the pressure, everything that's on going to a World Cup, I think Craig Gordon brings a calmness, a reliability. He's been through everything, like the setbacks he's had in his career as well. He did retire. He come back. He then retired from international duty or stopped getting picked. He's then come back to that again. He's had other career-defining injuries and come back. And then I don't know. I've just got a feeling as well that if he does well in the next game, and like it's a valid point because Chivalo's been excellent, and he really has been. And Hearts have been excellent. We know that, but I just think in there when it gets to, now they're not going away. Like Hearts are going to be in this title race, and there's not many in there that have got the experience of being in a title race where you look through the Celtic.
Sure.
Could that help you? Yep. Craig Gordon's the one in that team.
So that Craig Gordon, if you were the Hearts manager?
Both. For me,
both of them.
And it's tough just because he won save, but I just think what he brings you and what he's faced in football.
Stephen, you're such a champion for disabled fans in Scotland. You should write to Donald Trump. You should, and say, you're a Scot, play to his mother, play to his vanity, and say, be fair in this case. I'm telling you, you should get in touch with the American Embassy or whatever. It's shocking. Stephen, thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
All the best, Stephen.
Thanks,
Stephen.
Stephen. Right.
Bye.
Fingers crossed this works out for you. Hear that passion that he's got. And he was so up for it. You know, in social media, on this programme, he was talking about getting ready to go to the States. And let's hope that he will be in the summer. Quick break and then we're back. So we're midweek games tomorrow night. Hearts top of the table against St Mirren, who are desperate to get away from the bottom half of the table. It's remarkable they haven't won a game since they lifted the first trophy of the season, the Premier Sports Cup, the Scottish League Cup. That's tomorrow night. And also Falkirk against Celtic, and that's where it started the last time round, wasn't it, for Martin O'Neill when he came just 2 months ago, Andy?
And they won comfortably. And I don't think Celtic played a lot of great football under Martin O'Neill the previous time, but
what, are you allowed to say that?
His trick is he gets results. Well, it's not a vintage Celtic squad,
sure,
and we keep saying it. We can't believe that they didn't get the signings in last summer. They're still waiting for signings in for this window. You wonder if they'll come in at all. This idea that everybody's working hard behind the scenes, really. Results are everything. Can you deliver players? If you're delivering players, then I think that helps the manager.
Here's Kevin on the line, a Celtic fan. Hi, Kevin. Good evening.
How you doing, boys?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Hey, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
You okay? What's in your mind tonight?
I think what's on my mind tonight is just what was on the mind of every Celtic fan is that I've come on here. I'm usually dead upbeat and stuff, but I've seen the last few calls I've had has all been about signings. I'm absolutely perplexed, disgusted. I'm running out of superlatives actually to describe how I'm feeling about that. We have signed at least a striker, a goalie, and a centre half yet. I know we've got Stephen Welsh back, but the striker especially, it's just absolutely disgraceful business for the Celtic board. We've had over a year to fix this problem, and you can't tell me that all Europe, South America, North America, wherever, there isn't a striker with about the 3-4 million mark that we could have signed with it. I just think it's disgraceful. And I'll tell you one thing, it was one thing doing it to Brendan Rodgers and another thing doing it to Wilfred Nancy, but if they try and hang Martin O'Neill out to dry, the Celtic fans will never ever forgive them, because that guy deserves so much better than what he's getting now. And I know he's just in the door, but he should have 500% back into the Celtic board. That guy's a Celtic legend, a saint in the eyes of the Celtic fans. And if they hang him out to dry, the Celtic fans will never forgive them. There'll be no way back to the Celtic board.
Dermot Desmond owes them, doesn't he? Because twice in the space of, 7-8 weeks, he's answered a call to come back when it wasn't expected. Yeah.
Never mind what he did for us in 2000 to 2003. That's never mind what he done then as well. You know what I mean? This guy's statue material, and they're treating him like absolute dirt already. And I know it might sound harsh because we're only 12 days in, but they should be giving this guy every opportunity possible. They already robbed him. He winning a cup by signing that absolute joke to the MLS. So it's just disgusting what's going on. I'm just lost.
Kevin, I don't really buy this idea that it's a difficult window. Celtic will get money to spend, and I agree with you. There will be players available. When you think of how far they cast their net for players, it's literally a global game we're playing now. You see everyone coming in from any part of the world into Scotland, into Scottish football, and that's not even taking into consideration who might be available in the UK. So I'm not buying into this. It's really difficult to do business in the January window. I think Rangers have shown that if you're very serious about giving your best effort to get a title, then you do your business quickly. Whatever you think of these players, whoever's identified them, they've given the manager the best possible chance.
Let's hear a bit more from the manager.
Of course, yeah. I think that you could ask any manager at this given stage of the season, particularly if they know that, I'm down to the end of the season. That obviously depends on results, like everything else. But there's things that you think. No, we don't have any midweek, so trying to implement a style or something, I guess, here might be a bit more difficult. It's not something I really want to do anyway. Just wanted to revert back to what we were doing when I came in first of all, and that was probably into a back four. But of course, there's loads of things we can improve on, really. And but I think that's. Do you know what? I think that any manager would probably say the same thing. This is far from a perfect game, and we are far from perfect.
The Celtic board will be hoping that he pulls them out the mire again for the second time this season. Kieran Tierney spoke today about the return of the manager and how it's been with him back.
It was disappointing.
And this is before, I think he was talking about what happened when Wilfried Nancy came in.
It was disappointing. It's not good enough. Losing that many games in such a short space of time at Celtic's never acceptable. So now just about making it right and getting winning again. I think I was maybe one of the players who had played it most. I don't mind either formation. I've had success in both. So I enjoy different challenges in different positions, and that's always been the case.
And the return of Martin O'Neill?
Aye, the first day we came back in and they were here, it was just like normal again, because we'd built up a good routine in the however many weeks they were there before, and we had good results, good momentum, and it just feels like we've picked up for there.
And what did he feel about the title race? What's his thoughts?
Well, the last couple of years at Arsenal, we were in the kind of title races where we weren't first, or we were first for a while and dropped down to second. So it's a challenge that every football player loves, and one at the end of the season where you want to come out on top. Yeah, we've had other teams in as well who've performed brilliant, so I don't think you can overlook anyone. But we just need to focus on us getting back to winning and doing what we know we can. I think you need to. I think if you play at Celtic, you've got a competitive nature, and you want to win, and you know at Celtic you have to win. So that's what's kind of bringing us along and motivating us, because we know we've not been good enough up to now, and that's what we want to change.
James, who's got the strongest squad just now? Hearts, Rangers or Celtic?
I think obviously, and then it's easy to say, but if Jota's fit, if Cameron Carter-Vickers is fit, and Alistair Johnston's fit, then it's still Celtic. They're out.
Yeah,
so
sure.
the other two for me at the minute, in terms of where they're sitting, Hearts are the team for me.
Stronger than Rangers?
At the minute, yeah.
Okay.
I just think in that game on Saturday, they show a bit of everything. Hearts, they've battered teams, have scored for set plays, have dug out results. So they're showing that. Can they maintain it? It's still the question that's in my head.
But for Kevin, there is no Jota for the rest of the season. Alistair Johnston, he's saying maybe in March. CCV, no mention of him. Andy, who do you think has got the strongest squad available at the moment?
Right now, Hearts are top of the table. Yep. I think if Celtic can do business, I think obviously they can kick on and try and get this. When you look at the big games, and Hearts have shown that they've got the best squad and the best team just now, because they've played Celtic and Rangers 4 times and they've won 4 times. That result of the weekend, I agree with Derek McInnes. It's got to be one of the best 3 points of the season, one of the best wins they'll have, given the circumstances. But it can all change. The second half of the season, as James has just alluded to there's an added pressure when you're at the top of the table and things are tight. There's an added pressure to keep the momentum, to keep going. Because one of these 3 teams, maybe even 2 of them, they'll go on a run that puts everyone else under a bit of pressure. And it's a tough one to call.
Kevin, you're normally really positive, but tonight sounding a bit different. Celtic have apparently opened talks with Red Bull Bragantino, Portuguese side, a possible loan deal for a 26-year-old winger, Ignacio Laquintana. That's from the Scotsman today.
No, not having it. I'm not having it, man. But, Paul,
why are you not having him?
Because I don't know if I've told you before. Yeah. I spend more time watching South American football than I do watching British football. Yeah. Especially Argentina, the Brasiliano, and the Chilean Premier League. Yeah. I watch them 4 times a week religiously. I love it. Wow. Bragantino are rotten. And this guy cannot get a game. He can't get a game for them. Wow. And Bragantino are a struggling team. Now, if we were getting a winger from, let's say, a Palmeiras, a Flamengo, a Botafogo, who are in a good bit of form, then I would be more positive. But a team like Bragantino, no chance, mate. I'm not having it. It's just if he can't get a game for them, and he's away with them because he can't get a game for the other club. What are we doing here? And I'm led to believe that he's only at Bragantino because it's the sister club, the RB club in Europe.
Multi-club.
So I'm led to believe that they've took on his wages. So I'm just not having it, Paul. Listen, the guy could come here and he could absolutely smash it, and I could have ego in my face. Yeah. But I'm very sorry. If you what I've seen of Bragantino this season and last season, you can't get a game for them.
Kevin,
you should be nowhere near Celtic.
Kevin sounds as though he's got a few players that he could recommend for Celtic, given his knowledge of football elsewhere.
And that's what they need.
In Argentina, there's a few guys in Argentina, and it costs you a wee bit of money. There's a couple of players at Valencia Sarsfield, a couple of others that are really, really on fire. There's a young boy Carrizo in Argentina pulling up trees. He probably costs about 9 or 10 million, right enough. He's only 18, but this guy's gone right to the top. But none of the big European big hitters have came in yet. But if you look at the teams in provincial teams, even in Germany, France, some of the wee Spanish teams as well, they're all over South American football, and they all sell them for massive money. The Celtic and Rangers, and actually a lot of the English Premiership clubs, for some reason, don't dip into that market. I know it can be quite dangerous because their leagues are quite unpredictable, but there's a lot of good, hot young talent in Argentina. We obviously got
all right, Kevin.
The young left back.
Listen, you know your stuff. If you were at Celtic, you'd be certainly getting an interview for the recruitment department. But it's clear in the first hour, Celtic fans, they want to see some action from the club. Martin O'Neill said there's a lot of conversations going on. He would expect to be signing some players soon, but it's taken a long time. News is next, then we're back.
Radio Football Show with Burger King. Call 0808 17 17 700.
Let's go. Hour 2, Paul Cooney here with Andy Walker and also James McPake, currently out of football management. But James, you'd love to get back into it. Not many changes this week, I think. I'm trying to think of some of the... What about the Aberdeen job?
Yeah, no, it's this week's a bit quieter than it's been in the last
It's been crazy, hasn't it? Revolving door.
It has. It's been a strange old season.
What do you think for Peter leaving, interim manager, and he's got the football director there on his shoulder? Now, I mean, I hear good things about the football director, but to be there in the dugout with manager, how would you allow that?
I think it'd be extremely tough. Obviously, I think it's tough on Peter. He's done that job before and he done pretty well. And then, obviously, they lose the manager. And I don't know. Again, I've probably say fortunate in my 2 jobs that I've never came across that. I've just properly been sacked, and that's been it.
Properly sacked.
Nobody's come down. And
how do they do it? Do they do it face to face, or is it a text? Or I don't want to be too intrusive here, but I'd like to know, what's it like?
Some of them do it face to face. Some of them, before you even get the face to face, because for whatever reason somebody's maybe told you.
Yeah, I know the Dundee one. I think it shocked everybody because you did such a good job.
Yeah, look, and again, it's when you look back on it, that's still the one that hurts a bit.
It's sore.
Yeah, in terms of we'd went to Tynecastle and won. We got to the quarter final of the Scottish Cup, but look, then you get time to reflect. And interestingly enough, it was Derek McInnes was the one that told me to do that. He phoned me a few days later and said, "Stop feeling sorry for yourself, going out and get yourself out and about." And you end up doing that. You look back and ultimately you come across a lot of things that you think I'd have done that differently, but then you also get time and you think and go, no, there were certain things that were good. Look, it's experience. I thought I used it well enough at Dunfermline, and then obviously we had the issues in there as well. Similar maybe to what certain managers are feeling at the minute when you can't get signings in at certain points. So look, it's the way the game is, but I think we all still love it.
Andy? It's not something you've ever wanted to do?
No, I never fancied management. Funny enough, I took all my coaching badges. I was a fully qualified SFA coach. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed working with some of the people that you mix with down at Largs, and actually it helped me just in analysing games when you're working on the radio and on television, when you're doing European football, international football, obviously the Scottish stuff. I do some English stuff as well. It helps you look at certain things.
Yeah, you enjoy going down there. I'm just hearing from Rangers, apparently they're fairly confident they could sign on loan till the end of the season Andreas Skov Olsen, the Danish international player. So, Andy, he was 12 million last year. They'd get him till the end of the season. It's the kind of signing, if it happens, and there's interest in him from elsewhere, but that's the word at the moment, that they're...
Well, £12 million, if you're costing that, he's obviously on big wages. I don't know what Rangers are picking up there, but again, I would just say Rangers are giving their manager the best possible chance of finding a level of consistency in results that they will try and maintain their consistency of results since Danny Röhl has come in. Been very impressive. I think Hearts deservedly beat them at Tynecastle. It was more comfortable than the 2-1 scoreline suggests. But you're getting into the last 5 months of the season, and Rangers are stacking up on what they think is quality. We'll judge these players week in, week out as we see them.
Rangers fans, what do you feel so far in the window? Second top of the table. Can you do it? Are you going to blow it? Will you have the chops to take Rangers to the title for, I think, only the second time in 14 or 15 seasons, which in years gone past would have been... impossible to imagine even, but one title. Yeah,
and one of the problems that Celtic have is you're ever critical of Celtic. You get someone on the phone, how dare you criticise us, 13 out of 14.
I don't think they can say that now, Andy.
Well,
I think now,
it's
surely
absolutely absurd.
There has to be. Surely they have to now go, whoa, we've got this badly wrong now. We'll need to admit to some of it. Rangers did it. Andrew Kavanagh came into town, and I think he said, we didn't get it right in the summer.
But who's the voice of Celtic now, other than the manager? No one else is going to come out and speak. Martin O'Neill will be the spokesman for Celtic from now till the end of the season. I'm not sure the Celtic supporters would give credence to anyone. I think someone should come out and have a message, try and get on with the supporters, but that's a huge problem for Celtic. That disconnect is still very evident.
You would hope that Michael Nicholson is allowed to come out and lead the club as a chief exec should. It's a shareholder, Dermot Desmond, who seems to call the shots, but he's not a majority shareholder. He's the biggest shareholder, and he has done a lot for Celtic in the past, but almost to a man and woman, Celtic fans now are not happy, and they will have to come out and say, need to get it right, because the facts will be the League Cup has gone. The league is still there for Celtic as a possibility. Hearts have got other ideas, and so have Rangers. And then the Scottish Cup. But that Scottish Cup,
I think that's important, Paul. That the Celtic situation, while it's been extraordinary over the last month, 6 weeks, especially under Wilfred Nancy, it's not irretrievable.
Danny Röhl has quietly, he's moved up, I think, in everyone's opinion. At Sheffield Wednesday, he was highly rated. We heard that from different players who had worked with him. He did speak about objects being thrown at Pittodrie at the weekend. Well, in fact, this is what he said after the Aberdeen game.
I think general, a tough place to go. I heard a lot about this place. But for me, it was about the right answer. We scored 2 times, we won 3 points, we go home, we celebrate, that's it.
So he didn't get too involved in it, but the SPFA Chief Executive, Fraser Wishart, whom we know well, Andy, he's urged the Scottish Professional Football League to adopt the same hardline stance on missile throwing and offensive chanting at matches that they've taken with illegal pyrotechnic use after, well, several Rangers players were targeted during the game.
Yes.
What do you make of it all?
I think the SPFL committee, I think they come across as weak. I think when you're not prepared to take things seriously. I can remember being at a game at Tynecastle last season. It was the one that everyone will remember. Objects coming onto the pitch, but Lawrence Shanklin scored a penalty. Someone threw a pie and he caught it, took a bite of it and then threw it to the side. And everybody thought that was a great laugh. Yeah. I walked around after the game just to do post-match interviews. The amount of metal objects, the amount of coins, the amount of vapes was astonishing. I don't know what hit the Rangers player Fernandez at the weekend.
Yeah.
You saw all the cups coming on. I think it's absolutely outrageous. I can remember being at Ibrox when glass was strewn across the penalty box when Celtic came out for the second half. I remember being at Easter Road where objects were coming on, bottles, I think, come on, and no one seems to take it seriously. I'm glad to read, was it yesterday or today, about the Aberdeen fan who threw something to Jack McKenzie and he's disfigured for life because of something that hit him on the face. Thankfully, he's been given some time behind bars.
Yeah.
I'm amazed it's not taken seriously, taken more seriously, rather.
And James, as a manager, for your players and coaching staff as well have been affected. It's really unacceptable.
No, it certainly is. Look, and for people, particularly at games like that, where you think there's a wider audience watching Scottish football and you see stuff like that. I remember the one Andy's talking about, the bottle at Easter Road as well. I think Hibs dealt with that really well, but it's not new. And that's, again, we can say, looking to take a stance now, but we go back, Hugh Dallas was hit with a coin, you go back, Neil Lennon was assaulted at Tynecastle. This has been going on for as long as I can remember watching football, but certainly when you see it again and it keeps cropping up, it's just disappointing, and people going to games and that's what they want to do.
I think the difference is that my good friend Fraser seems to be bringing up is that this is apparently new, this illegal pyrotechnic stuff, and they seem to be taking it really seriously. And I've read some recommendations or bans. There's 50 less tickets. If you do it another time, you might get 100.
Is that not
less.
tiny?
It's tiny, but it's something.
Okay.
It's a start. And if you eventually, I think you could close a stand or a section of the stand. It's completely unacceptable that players cannot feel safe when they're doing their job.
On Sunday afternoon, it was a big one for the title race with that save by by Craig Gordon. Have you ever seen a better one? Give us a call, 0808 17 17 700. It meant it was 3 points for Hearts, keeping them at the top of the table on 47 points after the win at Dens Park. Rangers on 44 and Celtic went 41. Martin O'Neill said he's not a magician, but I'll tell you, he has some strike rate back at Celtic the second time round. We had a lot from him in the first hour, and we're going to hear some more as well. He's got a message to the Celtic fans. But what about Danny Röhl then? Quietly coming up on the in the race with Rangers, second top of the table. What did he make of the game? And 2 wins in 4 days against the Dons.
Big proud for my group. I think to come to a really tough place. I think since 2 years we couldn't win here as Rangers. We showed again different phases what we need. We played good men's football. We are ready in the duels, second balls. We understand to play in behind. Then we understand also to keep the ball in the right areas. Was enjoyable. Of course, the result. It's great to see. Fully deserved from my point. We scored in the right moment. Then in the second half we missed some good opportunities to make the 2-3-0. Then you never know what happens in such a game. And then finally, 2-0. And we were really focused until the end, and it is outstanding at the moment what we did. 5 wins in a row now. Now we take a short break, make a serious cup game, and then we have to go again.
5 wins out of 5, James. That's a potential title-winning form.
No, it certainly is, in the way that they're doing it as well. They're looking comfortable. I can never remember for a long time either that Rangers going up to Pittodrie and being so comfortable in a game. I thought they were excellent. I've been really impressed with Danny Röhl as well. I like his press. When he comes on, he's calm, he's composed. He handles the situation pretty well. Of course, he's winning games, which makes it a little bit easier, or a lot easier to be fair. But no, since he's come in, look, he's come in and you talk about managers coming in and changing things. He's come in with a squad at the same time, changed the way that they were playing football in certain ways. But then you hear him talking about Sunday's game. We're winning duels, we're winning second balls, we're playing in behind when we need to. He's simplifying the game for those players that are in there, and it's paying dividends for them at the minute.
Andy, what do you make of the transformation with a squad that everyone said would not be strong enough, but he's doing so well? What do you feel about his progress?
Yeah, I was doing a Sheffield Wednesday game earlier this season, and just as he was about to be appointed the Rangers manager, and everyone spoke so highly of him, and that's even people who are, in the media room dishing you out a cup of coffee and almost asking me to pass on their good wishes.
And did you? Yeah.
Well, not that I get anywhere near Ibrox these days, but I think he's done a terrific job, and I think he's now been given the tools to try and keep it going. It would be the most remarkable, turnaround, because I think even Barry, our good friend Barry, was saying not so long ago, Rangers are out of it. They give away too many chances, they're losing too many games, they're 9, 10, 11 points behind, but they are very much in it now. And I think when things happen, for example, Conor Barron, who I think he's been a very highly consistent player in recent weeks, he gets an injury, and Rangers act immediately. They go on out, and you were talking about it earlier. If they're going to bring in Andreas Skov Olsen, it's just someone that we don't know how he will react to playing in Scottish football and the pace of the game and the demands of our game. But you give the manager the best possible chance, and that's what Rangers seem to be doing with Danny Röhl. They're giving him options.
Winning twice against the Dons 2-0. Aberdeen, we can see, are not what they were even last season. They were strong. We spoke with Barry last night. I mean, they had some tough games against Aberdeen. Danny Röhl spoke about it, the double win against the Dons.
The result was both 2-0. I'm not sure if it was a better performance, a different way to go in such a game. We were really focused on our side, what we have to do. We look not so much on the opponent in the last 3-4 days. We improve, and it starts again with confidence. You see it really on the pitch now that we find more the free men. We are more braver, even under pressure, to play football. But also then we understand when we have to go in behind, and this is a good job at the moment for my players. Again, a clean sheet, a lot of clean sheets at the moment. This was also for me in the halftime I spoke about defend until the end. If you do it, then you can win games.
Yeah, James, the clean sheets.
Yeah, again, come back to it, he says the right things, but that's obviously the messages that he's given across these players, I think, since they have came in. And another problem for Celtic is you've got two teams above you at the minute. Now, I know that can change tomorrow night, but they've got two teams above you that defend their own box so well. Another area where Celtic are a bit vulnerable at the minute. So,
and yet under Martin O'Neill, a few weeks ago, that was one of the hallmarks, that Celtic weren't shipping goals.
And that's what Martin will be looking at just now as well. As much as, they need to score goals, but they had been conceding not just too many goals, Paul, but too many chances as well. So they'll be looking at that. But Rangers are the opposite since Danny Röhl's come in. They've come in, they're solid, they're a real threat, they defend their own box, and Hearts have been doing that all season. So it's just another bit into the mix of this title race that we're going to need to see. And Andy goes back to Andy's very first point. Celtic, we're talking about what they need. They certainly need a centre back as well as a striker.
We'll come back to Celtic in a moment. What about on Rangers, Andy? Everyone felt that they need more central defenders. What about the goal that was chalked off against Aberdeen?
I've got no problem with it. I think it's fine that the referee missed it, but I think once you see it again in VAR, as soon as I saw the replay and the arm that was so high, knocking the goalkeeper's arm, I think that's a foul.
Again, look, by the laws of the game, it probably is a foul, but how often do we see goalkeepers coming out in that situation and just taking everything and nothing ever really happens? I get it if he catches the ball, but for me, if the referee sees it, great. I don't think it was obvious enough that they had to intervene.
Mitov didn't cover himself in glory though, did he? The timing of his...
It's funny because he kept him in it for a while. He makes mistakes, but there was a couple of saves, I think, from Gassama, maybe was it Mikey Moore as well, who were through one-on-one. And for a while, you thought maybe Aberdeen will get a chance, but the second goal killed it, and Rangers won comfortably and won deservedly. And
he spoke afterwards about the set piece specialist, Scott Fry, who was brought in 5-6 weeks ago.
I think he worked well. Is a part of the coaching group. We have a great culture in our coaching group. We should not forget there's more than just me or Scott. Also other guys. On this point, also thank you to Kevin. Kevin was also helpful to get this transfer done. This is a big respect to him as well. I had a good talk with Scott. I felt straight that there's just more than the content, there's also human. And I said this always to my coaches, if we have a good communication, a good relationship and a good atmosphere on our table on the coaching, then we are the mirror for the group, and I think this is at the moment where we see. Necessary these days, do you think? Is it coming into the game more and more? Yeah, look, I wouldn't say it's necessary, but if I'm a manager at a club, then I would love to have it. You spend so much time, not that you're moaning about spending the time, but if you can get any help at all, I'm a big believer in just how important set plays are, always have been, going back to my playing days. And if you can get a specialist in, we've got goalkeeper, I know it's completely different, you're a goalkeeping coach, but you've got sports scientists, you've got analysts for all different things nowadays in football, but just the importance of set plays, and if you can get that right type of person in, which Danny Röhl's speaking about as well, he fits in with the group, and I think the proof's in the pudding as well. Since the boys come in, that their set plays have been better. Ross in Los Angeles is watching, Andy, enjoying it. And Ross the boss is watching it, and he said in his day when he was on the books at Partick Thistle, there was a manager and maybe a trainer or whatever. It's not that long ago, but nowadays there's so many different people. Do they need as many? No, they don't. I mean, I think what you need is, you always need a good delivery. Yep. You need good movement. I think the starting positions now, I find them quite interesting, but I think most of the goals, you see where they're scored from. And this is why I like the zonal marking, maybe a mixture of the two, maybe picking up one or two man for man. But set plays are becoming more important, more goals coming from them. But if you can have all the movement you want, if you can't get the delivery, you've no chance. We told you last night Finlay Curtis could well be in his way to Kilmarnock.
as on loan, and it looks as though that could be happening for the 19-year-old winger who started well and scored 3 goals early in the season for Rangers. And also Forrest could be leaving a Premier League team. Young Forrest, not James, it's his brother Alan who's leaving. You were ahead of me there, James. He could be on his way from Hearts. He's in the final year of his contract, so he could be going. Alan Forrest, more than decent player. Going to the break, and then we're back, and then we're going back on the lines next. Looking forward to the games tomorrow night after a weekend when Celtic kicked off with a 4-0 win against Dundee United. Hibs and Motherwell 1-1. Livy and Kilmarnock, the first draw for, well, it's his first game, isn't it? With Billy Dawes there assisting Neil McCann, 1-1. And Falkirk winning 2-0 against St Mirren. Saints fans want to get back on the horse, winning tomorrow night in the game against the table toppers Hearts. They did so well against them some months ago. VAR didn't go with them, but hey, they've just lost their vice chairman, and that shouldn't count, Andy. But no. You know, these days it's just they need a win again, don't they? They need to start picking up points.
They do. It was magnificent what they did against Celtic in the cup final. I saw them recently in a home match against Kilmarnock. That was also a 0-0 draw, and I know he's not happy. Stephen Robinson, not happy with his players. I think they're underperforming, they're underachieving. And remember the last 3 years they've been in the top six. They've now won a trophy. And they need to be better. I think they're capable of it. I still think it'll be Kilmarnock and Livingston in the bottom two. Yeah.
Dundee have dug their way out of things. We'll come back to you in a moment or two, James, on that, your old club. Let's go on the lines. Regan is on. Hi, Regan. Good evening.
Paul, good to be on. Thank you for having me on again.
Hi, Regan.
Hi, Regan.
Good to hear you.
How are you guys? How are you doing? All right?
Yeah,
all good.
They're living the dream, these two. What are you thinking tonight?
I just wanted to talk about Celtic and the transfers. I just think that Celtic are letting the fans down big time, Paul. So Celtic fans plough in a lot of money, and for Celtic to be looking for cheap deals or whatever they're doing, so Celtic should be a club with a transfer strategy. Celtic sold Kyogo last January, as James was saying earlier.
Yep.
Celtic sold Ida. Celtic sold Giakoumakis. I would say Celtic have still not replaced Giakoumakis. I mean, I was doing a bit of digging earlier, Paul.
Yep.
And Celtic, under Brendan Rodgers, had Edward, Dembele, so many great players like that. And I think Celtic have just maybe they've got a little bit too thinking things are too easy. I don't know. Maybe the club have just sleepwalking into some sort of thinking that they can just sort of go things will just still get Celtic to the top of the league. So I'm just glad to see that both Rangers and Hearts are actually properly testing Celtic, because I think it's great for Scottish football. I did see today, Paul, that the Jambos have signed a brand new winger, so hopefully he can do well. But I'm just so frustrated by Celtic.
Sorry, you're not alone, Regan. Yeah. And just going back to what I said earlier, I was absolutely convinced, given the shambles of the summer window, that Celtic would do business early, they would do it quickly, and they would get a striker, a wide player, and a central defender. And given the way the squad needs these type of players with the injuries and just with the lack of business in the last window.
Let's hear a bit more from Martin O'Neill about the kind of players he would like to see.
Of course, yeah. I think that you could ask any manager at this given stage of the season, particularly if they know that, I'm down to the end of the season. That obviously depends on results, like everything else. But there's things that you think. No, we don't have any midweeks, so trying to implement a style or something, I guess, here might be a bit more difficult. It's not something I really want to do anyway. Just wanted to revert back to what we were doing when I came in first of all, and that was probably into a back four. But of course, there's loads of things we can improve on, really. And but I think that's. Do you know what I think that? I think that any manager would probably say the same thing. This is far from a perfect game, and we are far from perfect.
So he said he's not a magician. He got a 4-0 win at the weekend. Would it be a statue to Martin O'Neill if he can revive the challenge and win the league? He was asked today, Martin, no signing so far. You're in the door only 8 days. What would you say to the fans tonight?
I kind of do. I do, yes. I understand that. I hate sending out those messages to fans, who never listen anyway. Right. No, we are really trying, honestly, to try and get and obviously, selfishly, but as I said to you, I'm not. I don't have any impediments from board level. I think we all want to try and do something, which is great. So, I'm not blaming anybody. We will try and get people in, but it genuinely is at this stage, even though it's halfway through January. It is looking around to see what could fit for us as much as anything else, and we'll see. Again, it's not perfect. We might end up having to do some things that that you take somebody on loan that you think that you wouldn't be looking to sign for 3 or 4 years, for instance, something like that.
Andy, what do you feel about what he's saying there? Does it matter whether they're on loan or whatever?
I'm not interested in, we're working hard behind the scenes. Results are everything. Give the manager some players. Get the deal done. You know the positions. You must have a long list of strikers of various ability. Centre half's the same. Wide players the same. It happens at every club. You've got a big long list of players in certain positions, and I know you move for one, it doesn't work out. Go for the number two, doesn't work out. It's astonishing that Celtic have failed to do proper business last summer and in this window now that you're halfway through it. It's remarkable given what is at stake.
Regan?
I think it's absolutely remarkable because I think that Celtic should be forward planning, Paul. They should be saying, right, well, Kyogo left, right, Adamina left, that needs to be a priority. Celtic need 2 strikers in the building. It's as simple as that. And Celtic need two wingers as well because Jota, surely someone at the club must have known that Jota was going to be for the rest of the season. So surely that's something that needs to be addressed. And I think Celtic as a whole, I think they're very fortunate that Martin O'Neill has just come in and done very well. But that's Martin O'Neill. Martin O'Neill's a great figurehead for the club.
You should be flexing your financial muscle at this time because it's a 3-horse race. I think everyone would accept that. There's 5 months left of the season. You're actually more than halfway through the season. You should be flexing your financial muscle to help this manager who's only going to be in till the end of the season. Give him the best possible chance of securing the title.
Mind you, if he wins the title, if he wins the Scottish Cup, let's just say the title, James, I think a lot of people will be saying, why would Martin O'Neill go in the summer? I mean, he's self-deprecating there, he's saying, well, I should be here till the end of the season. See, but the way his success rate, then it's ifs, buts and maybes. They'll be saying, let's just take the title race just now. But if they win it, is there an argument for Martin O'Neill staying on next season?
I think if it gets to that point and they do win it with everything that's happened this season, then it'll certainly be a conversation they have. Not the issue, but what I think Martin's been really good. He's got Sean Maloney in there. That, again, there are other members of his staff in there, but the fact that Sean's in there with the background he's had, the coaching, the managing, I think he'll be a big help to Martin. If Celtic have won the league, then and it comes round, I think it would be something that would be discussed, but I just don't know if it's what Martin would want to do.
And who would you trust at Celtic to get it right, given that they got it so wrong? I know that Paul Tisdale has kind of taken the rap for that, but who in the board thought this was going to be a good idea, to bring in a manager who was hell-bent on going with a back 3 rather than the back 4? I mean, they still have to answer that. Now, if they win the title, they'll move on. But you hear the Celtic fans yet again in the window. There's nobody's come in so far. What about the players who are there just now? Martin O'Neill was asked today that question, how have they been?
I'm careful really because I've had this experience before, where you leave a football club and the new manager comes in and they boast about how great the training session is the following day and the players are upbeat and all that type of stuff, which is usually a load of nonsense. And I think that's sort of one to ingratiate himself with whoever, maybe his employers and things like that there. I don't know. But no, the training, that's why I said it's fine. It is fine. And the players seem to be in a good mood. They seem to be in a good mood. But then I don't know what a bad mood is in that sense, because when I came in here before, Brendan had resigned from the football club. I think the players were in a bit of shock. I know that there was a bit of tension along the way beforehand, but I still think that the players were really surprised that Brendan left. So I step in. A lot of the players would have, as I said to you, wouldn't have known who I was, and so it was all a trying to get to know sort of situation. But in the meantime, trying to win some games. Now coming in this time, I feel as if I obviously know the players much, much better. So from that viewpoint, I'll not go overboard about the training being super. You know, but it was fine.
He's canny, isn't he, James?
Yeah. Look, he's clever in the way he puts his answers across. He always has been very good with the media and in his press. So look, ultimately, he's just got to win games. I think that he always gets back to that. And even with his previous comment where he says, "I'm not interested in coming in here and inventing a new style or creating a style of play for the team." Like, he knows it's all about winning, and that's like his full focus is on that. What Andy said tonight, that I agree with. He does need help. I think Martin's almost saying that himself. Sure. Regan's come on and said it, and I think it's an interesting point Regan made as well about their transfer strategy. Like years ago, only going back 5 or 6 years, it looked excellent, their player trading model. When there were players coming in, they were buying them for Virgil van Dijk's of the world, Victor Wanyama.
Even a couple of years ago, in fact, Matt O'Reilly went the beginning of last season. So brought in 2 years before for what, $1.5 million, sold him for over 20.
So where has that went? Where and that's questions. I think that's Regan's point. Is the transfer strategy doesn't seem to be there just now.
Who's going to win the league, James? Who do you think? So where are we? We're the 13th of January 2026. No pressure. Who do you think is going to win the league?
I think when you say it, and you've been on the show before, you've got to stick with your original team, and I picked Celtic when I was on earlier in the season, and I'll stand by that.
Andy, what's your latest ask?
Yeah, I'm the same as James. I'll stick with my original tip, and that was Celtic. They have underperformed. They've got the chance to get players in the next couple of weeks. It would be truly remarkable if they don't get what the manager's looking for. But right now, Hearts are favourites. They are top, and deservedly so.
And before we come back to you for the final point, Regan, here is Martin O'Neill speaking about Stephen Welsh, recalled from Motherwell.
Well, number one, he's our player. Okay, for a start. So selfishly, that means something. He's having a really great time at Motherwell, and I understand from a playing viewpoint that having got himself up and running and doing great at the club, that he probably didn't really want that disturbed as much as anything else. But he's back with us now at this minute, and but he has. I think that there was a cut-off point where we could take him back and then send him back to Motherwell if that was the case. That might happen at this minute. I did speak to him yesterday, and I must admit I hadn't realised the number of games he'd played for this club, and played Champions League matches as well too. So. And it's something that if we've got 3 centre backs at this moment. Anything happened to any of them, then we could find ourselves in a bit of trouble.
Sounds as though he might stay, Regan. Regan, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow night, the Falkirk game?
I think Celtic will win just, Paul, I think 2-1.
2-1. Regan, thank you so much. 0808
Cheers, guys, all the best.
Cheers, Regan.
Thanks,
Have a good night.
Regan.
We're back after this. This time tomorrow night, the Go Radio Football Show, Jamie Murphy, Ayr United, former Rangers man, and Scotland as well. I see he scored at the weekend for the Honest Men. He'll be here along with Peter Grant. That's tomorrow night's panel.
Getting the reserves out, giving them a run.
Way! Andy Walker, you've got a wicked sense of humour, which I've got to know over the years.
Gary's used to it, honestly. Being a reserve as well, he's used to that.
Yes, indeed. How, you enjoying being a granddad, aren't you? A very young granddad, but yeah. How are the wee ones?
I was with Florence and Isaac today, and it was great fun.
Captured your heart, haven't they?
Beautiful, beautiful
Nothing
children.
like it. James, how the family, the children keeping you busy?
Yeah, all good. All good, and I think the difference with Andy now and being a granddad is you can hand them back and get out and have peace. No, the girls are good. They're still causing hassle every day, but really good.
Fantastic. Just looking to see if there's any updates on the signing world. What about the Sunderland players that we mentioned on Friday night? There could be a couple of them. You're going to see Sunderland this weekend. Some of the players who played in the Championship.
They pretty much used their squad last weekend when they got a win on penalties against Everton in the FA Cup. But looking forward to seeing Sunderland. There's a team that have come up from the Championship. One of the outstanding players was Dan Neil. I know he's been linked with Rangers. Absolutely outstanding in the Championship. He's obviously got Premier League experience before, but he's a really good pro. And I remember speaking to Tony Mowbray about him when he was a manager. A really good guy as well.
I see that Gassama's wanted in Spain, Belgium and in the Major League Soccer, but the 22-year-old winger has no intention of leaving Rangers. Gassama is one that I'm sure they wouldn't want to lose. He's got something a bit different.
I think the window's important. You don't just stock up on players. You have to be sensible. You get some people in. You try your best to get people out. Try and not be losing too much money, but I think when you talk about Celtic and you talk about the financial muscle that they have and the financial advantage that they have over everyone else, you're just shaking your head and wondering, what are you doing? Why are you not doing business?
I see at Rangers, Joe Rothwell, whom we've not seen for ages now, came in the summer. He could be on his way to Sheffield United.
Yeah, I think that's a different one to the Gassama one. I think that's one that probably does make sense, given the salary that he'll be on, and you're bringing your own players in. Look, his game time has been very limited all season. I know he played a few times under Russell Martin, but no, for me that one makes sense. If I'm Rangers, I would keep a hold of Gassama, because I agree with you on that. He does have something a wee bit different, and he can do things in games and open teams up. So no, but for me the Rothwell one makes sense.
What's the best save you've ever seen, guys? A few people are asking. Billy is on saying,
I've actually seen Craig Gordon make a. I mean, there was one he made when he was a Sunderland player.
That's right.
Yeah.
Save of the season, wasn't it?
Save of the season. It was truly remarkable. I can remember some of the saves he made at Celtic, but the one at the weekend will stick in your mind for so long. And when you see it in slow motion and you see how he got his right foot, when you look at his right foot, and he had to plant it so that he could push off from his right foot and dive to his left, and then the hand and the wrist so strong to keep it out, because worst conditions for a goalkeeper, a really wet, sodden ground. The header was a really good one because it was down into the surface. It picks up a bit of speed. He's read everything about it. You won't see a better save than that this season.
Could Pat Bonner have got it in his heyday, do you
Definitely
reckon?
not.
One of your pals,
Not
of
a
course.
chance.
And how is he? I hear him on the BBC at times, still doing well. Get the ball up the pitch.
Packy is always in good form,
isn't he? He's a great man. James, best save.
Paul, that's got to be up there. When you're sitting watching a game live, and normally it's a bit of skill or a great goal or whatever, but I think that the angle for behind the goal, where you see it and you see the hand coming towards you, and it's not just Andy's right. It's the big arm comes out, but it's where he gets the ball away to. I think it would have been easy enough for him just to save it, to knock it out, and then anything happens, the way Hearts were defending, it would have likely been a Hearts player. But the way, I think it actually goes out for a throw-in, not even a corner, or it goes out to the touch. And I think it's in the context of the game. They go down to 10 men last minute. Dundee fans, Stephen Presley would have been gutted with it as well, because it's a goal all day long, but Craig Gordon doing, let's be honest, what he's done all his career.
I always remember what Tommy Burns said when he was Celtic manager, and he couldn't believe some of the saves that Andy Gorham made in Celtic Rangers games. One that springs to mind immediately is a cross from Tosh McKinley, a volley from Pierre Van Hooijdonk at Ibrox. I think it was a game that ended 3-3, but Gorham saved it. I think we all recognise Andy Gorham's reactions. He saves in big moments. And Tommy said it would be on his tombstone or something like that. It was because he used to do it time and time again. That was the save I was going to mention to you, Andy, because we all remember that Andy Gorham, he broke the hearts of Celtic players and fans for many, many years, and the late great Tommy as well, saying that because he was exceptional, not the tallest keeper. And I was just about to say, he wasn't physically imposing, he didn't come for crosses, but I mean, it was a bit like when you talk about Jim Leighton at Aberdeen, when you've got Miller McLeish in front of you, you don't need to come for crosses. We were watching a cup game at the weekend, young Leo in goals. It went to penalties, so after the 90 minutes, it was 4-4, good game, went to the penalties. Penalty number 6, boom, Leo saved it, and everyone jumped on, all the players. There's another penalty to be taken, but he won. There's nothing like it. You know, you've got to be a bit crazy to be a goalkeeper, probably, but in times like that, James, it must be a feall like no other. Yeah, and you seen the way they celebrated it as well, and I thought, I never liked to see Hearts celebrate at all, let alone against Dundee or Hibs especially, but I think that was good, the way they celebrated that goal, or that save, celebrate it the way, and I seen Craig Gordon's press afterwards where he did say that, and he says that must be what the feeling's like to score the winner at the other end of the pitch. So again, I can't speak highly enough of Craig Gordon, what I've seen of him throughout his career. And you would play him, you would definitely play him for Hearts as well as Scotland. Again, I'm just putting it into... just say what you think. Well, no, seriously. I think that's what we should do. Then. No, but we do. I think it's hard to... Look, Angus Gunn's a good keeper, not a great keeper. Certainly for Scotland, I think, with what he's come back, he played in those qualifiers, and people will question the amount of games he gets for Hearts, but there's warm-up games, and ultimately... all the keepers have got to be fit. Again, any one of them could pick up an injury. But I just think for Hearts, and the longer this season's going, the pressure is going to go up and up. I just think Craig Gordon's the one player in there that's been through it all. He's a calm head. Again, Derek will make the right decision on form and what he believes is best for the team. I've no doubt about that. But I just think he's been there before, and that helps. Billy's on asking who's going to win the Scottish Cup, because obviously it kicks off this weekend, so Aberdeen the holders, the Dons fans will be praying they don't do a Crystal Palace, Andy. But who do you think? I mean, I know it's a daft, I could say if it's not Celtic or Rangers, if it's not Celtic or Rangers, and we saw Aberdeen winning it, it was a big surprise last time out, I'll go with Hibs again. Hibs. And if you include everyone, is it going to be... Celtic have got the strongest squad. They've got the biggest financial muscle. They should be able to make all the difference between now and the end of the season. They've got a manager that I think everyone is buying into. Celtic supporters have got a smile on their face when they think about Martin O'Neill leading their team. Wasn't the case for so long there. They've been astonished at some of the goings on off the pitch. You know, the AGM, the way that Brendan Rodgers was treated, but... they've got a smile on their face again. James, who's going to be smiling on May the whatever date it is for the Cup final? For the season they've had, I'm just going to pick one that I'd like to see win at Motherwell. Obviously they had a disappointing day at Hampden in the semi-final against St Mirren, where he came out and admitted they were poor that day. And for the way they played, or the way they've played this season, if that continues, then they'll be a threat in the Cup. Good shout, isn't it? Yeah. They'll be a threat to any team. Andy's old team, of course, who won it in 1991. Which was an amazing game. Brilliant. Yeah. Let's hear from, we will in a moment or two. What's your verdict for tomorrow night then? St Mirren at Hearts. James, who do you reckon is going to win? I think Hearts will win that one. Again, I do agree with Andy that St Mirren will get out of trouble eventually, but Hearts for me. Andy? Hearts by a couple of goals. OK, so St Mirren fans, we'd love to see you turn the corner, but it's unlikely to be tomorrow night. What about Celtic playing at Falkirk? What about Falkirk? Top 6, phenomenal. Here is Martin O'Neill speaking about the opponents tomorrow night. Just a really tough game, really tough match. And I thought that even when we won, which was my opening game of the last period I was in charge, I thought they were very strong. We got a couple of goals at important moments, and obviously
that would deflate them a little bit. But yeah, he's, I think, the utmost regard for the manager and the job that he's done there, and they're flying.
I mean, it's some story.
It's tremendous, absolutely tremendous. To come up from a championship and be so comfortable, 30 points, 5 away from Hibs above them, and 5 in front of Dundee United and Aberdeen below them. I mean, they've got a real chance of making the top 6, which would be truly remarkable, and that puts them in the mix to decide where the championship might go.
Scoreline then tomorrow night?
2-0 for the Celtic.
2-0 Celtic. So I'm just laughing because you're right, we do pay tribute to Falkirk quite rightly. James, what do you feel?
3-1 Celtic. I think they'll go, and I do think they'll concede, but I think they'll have enough to win. They need to go there and win, and I'm sure Martin will be letting them know that. But I've got to go with what Andy says on John McGlynn. Huge respect for him and the job he's done as well, even though he was my biggest rival for a couple of years. But no,
of course, that's right. Yeah,
great person.
Was he good to work?
Yeah, great
head to head.
Yeah, great person, great football person, and delighted to see him doing so well.
Okay, it was the Cup at the weekend as well, but we'll talk about that more tomorrow night with Jamie Murphy and Peter Grant, because they know what they're talking about. That's cheap, isn't it? There's no need for that whatsoever. I'm filling very slightly because I'm just checking. No sign of any other registrations coming in the last few minutes. Thanks, Andy. You come back next week.
Always a pleasure, Paul. Thank you.
James back soon as well. Look forward to that.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Don't forget, tomorrow night then we'll be here from 5, and you can listen as always on the radio and on Catch Up as well, or on YouTube. That's it for tonight. News is next, and then Joke all day. See you tomorrow night at 5.